Hola y muy buenos días. Bienvenidos a Lightspeed Spanish. Today I'm talking about the passive voice and how we as English speakers love it and how in Spain they don't. Hablamos de todo en la segunda parte.
Ojalá tuviera yo un español más decente.
So you might be asking yourself, or not, what is the passive voice? What's Gordon talking about? Well, the passive voice is a structure of speaking that we in English love to use. We use it all of the time. What is the passive voice? I'll give you an example. So, somebody's eating a bit of cake. I've just given them the go, oh, I really like this cake. They say, and I say to them, yes, it was made by my mum. Passive voice. It was made by my mum. Now, we do that all the time. The man was arrested by the police. The door was opened by the dog. We love it. We use it all the time. But Spanish speakers don't. They don't use it generally in spoken Spanish. It's reserved for much more formal moments. How do you recognize the passive voice? The passive voice is easy. We use the verb to be. It was. It is. We use the past participle. It was made. It was built. It was done. And then if we want to, we can add by. By my mum. It was made by my mum. That's how you recognize the passive voice. The person that does the action is always at the end. And sometimes we don't even have to put by whoever. We can just say the man was arrested, in brackets, by the police. But we don't have to say that. Now, the passive voice exists in Spanish, and it would be La tarta fue preparada por mi madre. The cake was made by my mum. But that isn't the way that Spanish speakers say it. Certainly not in day-to-day conversation. Do you know what they would say instead of the cake was made by my mum? Well, what they use is what's called the active voice. And the active voice is just say who did it. Blame the person who did it and put their name first. So a Spanish person would say, my mum made it. That's what they would say, rather than it was made by my mum. My mum made it. So they would say, mi madre la preparó. Mi madre la hizo. Done. When we say the door was opened by the dog, in Spanish they would say the dog opened the door. El perro abrió la puerta. Rather than la puerta fue abierta por el perro. Okay? It sounds much more formal that. The day-to-day is put the name of the person, put the action first. This is called the active voice. Now, the difficulty that we have as English speakers is that we have loads of sentences that are in the passive voice. And so what we do is we start to translate that. So the way that you convert the passive voice, right, with the name at the end, to the active voice is just you ask these questions, very simple questions. Who did it? Name. What did they do? A verb. That's it. So, for example, we say, oh, the car was stolen by a man. Okay? That's the passive voice. In the active voice, we say, who did it? A man. Un hombre. What did he do? He stole. Robó el coche. Un hombre robó el coche. So that's what you have to do to make it active. However, there's something very special about what happens in Spanish when we don't even have a name. In English, we say, the car was stolen last night. We don't add a name because we don't know who stole it. Well, exactly the same in Spanish, we don't have a perpetrator. So what do they do in Spanish? What they do is this. They blame them. And they say, robaron el coche anoche. They stole the car last night. Now, they don't know if it was one person or multiple people, they don't know. But in Spanish, the default is, if you're not sure, blame them. And I suppose we do it in English a little bit, go, oh, they've stolen my car. But we would normally say someone has stolen my car. Whereas in Spanish, they say they. Right? Let's just blame the lot of them. Así que, en resumen, the first option is to name the person or the doer. Who did it? What did they do? That's the active voice. If you haven't got a name, you don't know who did it, blame them. Lo han hecho ellos. And then the very last option would be the passive voice. When do they use the passive voice? Well, in much more formal situations. I've heard the passive voice used when people are guiding people around a city, and they're just talking about when this building was built and stuff like that. But generally, in day-to-day conversation, I rarely hear the passive voice. And you should rarely use it. And work on building your active voice. Pues eso es todo, chicos. Espero que os haya ayudado esta explicación y nos vemos la próxima vez.